Hello, fellow moaners. Welcome to Make Yourself Moan podcast. I'm your host, Madison Monroe Curtis, and it's time to dive deeper. Hello, welcome back to the Make Yourself Moan podcast. I'm your host, Madison Monroe. It feels so good to be back here with you again. This means the world to me. If you haven't already, please subscribe or press the follow button depending on where you're listening. So that way you're informed every time I put out a new episode. This is the year. This is the year that Make Yourself Moan is going to take off. And I just really thank you for being here in the earliest stages. We've been going at this for over a year now, and we're just getting started. I know that can sound like an oxymoron, and trust me, it feels like it. I know I'm not the only one out there that wants immediate results. If I think about going to the gym, I expect to look in the mirror and see an ablet, like a single ab. Or if I do 15 squats, why do I still have cellulite? Why is my body seemingly getting more out of shape the more I go to the gym? Maybe I'm eating a lot. I digress. The point is, I understand wanting immediate results, but that is just not how most things work. Thank you, Gandhi. I am taking that as you agree. Do you agree with me? My sweetheart. So while I've been doing this podcast for over a year now, every time I get a thumbs up, a new subscriber, a comment, a message, I am just ecstatic. A friend of mine, she gave me a compliment, and I sent back, I'm smiling out loud. SOL? I'm SOL. That's normally not what that means. What is the expression? Yeah, that definitely doesn't normally mean that. But I meant smiling out loud today. Why are we so hard on ourselves? Sometimes we do need to be hard on ourselves. Other times, we're just plain mean. We probably wouldn't talk to most people the way that we can talk to ourselves inside of our head, the way we can think of ourselves when we look in the mirror. While I was getting ready for this podcast episode today, I think I tried on 3 different things that just did not fit. We all have different struggles, and most of us are struggling with our self-image. To you, I am maybe a goal weight or something, or you think that I have all these check marks. I know I am very blessed in many ways, and I never want to take that for granted. But just like you and Sheila down the street, I struggle with truly loving myself sometimes, a lot of the time. And I struggle with thinking I'm beautiful, and I struggle with not beating myself up mentally when I can no longer wear that pair of jeans, or I can't get that skirt over my butt, and I can't zip that dress up. Or why are things shrinking? Am I growing? Both. Let's just call it both. It's hard. So, why are we so hard on ourselves? Are we celebrating the wins of today? Do you? Was it a goal to make your bed every morning before you left the house? Did today you do that? Did yesterday you do that? Maybe not today. That's okay. We'll let yesterday count. Did you tell yourself that you're going to do a morning workout or some morning thing that you feel helps you feel better about yourself the rest of the day? Did you do that thing? Did you tell yourself you're going to stop drinking Starbucks every morning? Did you go to Starbucks? Did you not? Are we doing the things that we say we want to do? Better yet, are we doing the things that we know we must do to get to the other side of our dreams coming true? That is something only you can answer. And I think that is why we're hard on ourselves. Other than the world can promote a negative self-image, negative self-talk, and it feels normal to hate on yourself. I am saying BS. Let's not keep making it normal to be cruel to who is responsible for loving us and understanding us the most. No one else out there in the world, not even a twin or your partner that you're in love with that is so good to you and y'all been together for 10 years, or your mom or your dad or your siblings or your childhood best friend. Nobody knows you better than you do. And it's impossible for someone to. You live inside and outside of yourself 24/7. You have gone through every bad thing, every great thing. You know what you think when no one's around. You know the first thought you have when you wake up, and you know the last. Are you congratulating yourself every time you get to check something off one of your list? Or you do one of the things that you said you were going to do? Today, I'm looking at it right now because my studio is currently in our bedroom in our house. I made the bed this morning. It took me a minute, but I did make it. And not just because I was going to podcast. I cleaned off a spot on my dresser this morning because a few episodes ago, I talked about how a messy space equals messy mind. And man, it's so easy to get messy. But at least right now, with all of these things, I'm blessed to have so many things. But it's also a curse in ways. And I'm not saying in a take it for granted way that I'm ungrateful for all the things. I know what it's like. For years, I lived in my van that was no bigger. It was a fourth of the size of this bedroom. And honestly, I loved it. I hated not having access to hot showers, and I only watched TV on my phone, but you could only have so many things. And everything that you had to have multiple uses. So just that something about that simplicity suits me. And if you've seen any of my other episodes, you know that I have a school bus outside that is just calling my name. Me and my partner are working on converting it, and it always takes longer than you think it should. And if you know, you know. My schoolie livers, van lifers out there, you know what I'm talking about. And every day I wake up in this house and I look around and I'm so grateful, but I'm also amazed at how do I have so much stuff? How do I have 30 hats, 12 beanies? Where am I going to put everything? I can't take it all. But that is something that's so beautiful too when you transition into tiny home living is you choose what really means a lot to you and what really makes you moan. I'm excited to see what makes that list. For now, I'm trying to honor what I know, and that's if my space is messy, my mind is going to be messy. And I don't stand a good chance at accomplishing things I need to, and then therefore not getting closer to my goals. But I cannot live in a state of constant goal achieving. I want to remember that as I move through my day, when there are wins, celebrate them, clap for myself. And at the end of the day, if I didn't reach my goal, well, that's just normal, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a successful day. Most goals you cannot achieve in a day. Maybe it's just me, but I make big goals. I want to get in the best shape of my life. I want to constantly have a clean house. I want to host parties all the time. I want to go to trivia and feel like I spent time with all of my family members. I want to cook dinner for my partner. I want to make sure he feels loved and cared for. I want to spend quality time with each fur baby. I can barely keep count of the fur and farm babies that we have right now. I'm winded just describing that to you. But in my head, it is a constant merry-go-round of, have you done this? Have you done that? Well, you didn't do that. You did this, but you didn't do that. So you can't celebrate yet? Yes, I can. And I have to take a deep breath and regroup and look at these lists that I carry and say, all right, there's this many more hours in today. Where are my must-haves? What will make me moan the most today? And what just makes sense to put off till tomorrow? What did I put on my list that was realistically never going to happen today? Do you do that? Do you ever put something on your list over and over, knowing that you're not going to get to it? Why do you do that? Why do we do that? Why do we set ourselves up for that moment of feeling like a failure? Let's do better at our list making, even if they're just mental. We are here to live, people. Are you alive? How alive are you? A lot of us are out here walking around like animatronic mannequins. Some of us look nice as we go from place to place, move through the world, but we're empty. We're so empty and we're lost and we don't know where to start because we feel like, what's the point? Maybe those around us that we're spending our time with also seem and talk and act lost. And it's been a long time since you felt inspired or motivated or excited. How do we restore an eagerness for life? All right, I said get inspired, get motivated, and be excited. I was looking it up earlier, and those are psychological experiences. How do we achieve those? You just do. Right? Easy. All right. Thank y'all for coming to the Make Yourself Moan. I'm just kidding. I know it is not that easy. Or is it? Mind over matter is such a real thing. It is. But it's not easy to tap into. It does help, though, to at least know that. At least pocket that mantra, that fact in the library of your brain. Mind over matter is real. We got to learn to trust ourselves again. And how do you learn to trust yourself? By keeping the promises you make to yourself. And we seek out our purposes. We all have them. A lot of people, I think, start to give up. And we settle. We settle for what pays the bills. We settle for the person that was nice to us. We settle for comfort, for what makes sense in our lives. We put our desires and needs on the back burner, thinking maybe one day they'll have a place. Maybe one day these people in my life will see me hurting, and they'll make a change. They'll make sure that I live out my most full life and potential. Or maybe you wake up before your last days, and while you still have a lot of life to give and to live, and realize it is not anyone's job to live your life for you. No one can do that. It is so easy for someone to take from your life, to make you feel like you need to dim your light, like you can't be the bad A, beautiful boss, queen, king that you are, because it might make them feel insecure. It is our job to live our lives to the fullest potential we can. And everyone else will either get on board, or if they can't handle it, they'll show us that. And that's their loss. We are meant to be our truest, biggest selves, metaphorically speaking. I know what it's like to have your partner make you feel bad every time you grow a little bit, you get a promotion, you buy a new outfit, someone shows you attention. And I used to think that was just normal. It's sad because it is normal that people do that to each other, but it is not okay, and it is not the way that it should be. You cannot tell me that you're happy when that happens to you, that you're happy when someone makes you feel like you did something wrong just by discovering something new about yourself or reaching a new level of success or hotness. You had a glow up. When was the last time you had a moment about yourself? I think in our, once we're past 25, we've heard so much that we start to think, well, there's not much else to learn. I felt like that for a long time until my friend Christina introduced me to the human design. Have you ever heard of that? I bet most of you haven't. The human design, well, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read what it is to you because it's worth it. And if this is the only time you ever hear about it, I'll feel better that at least I did my part by sharing with you something that has changed my life and will continue to do so. Because once I heard it, well, the first time when I heard her talking about it, I kind of just thought, okay, yeah, I already like horoscopes, and sometimes they feel like they are suited for me, and sometimes they're not, and there's just so many out there. How do you know what's what? Is it woo woo? Is it a good woo woo? Is it just telling me what I want to hear? Here, I'm getting excited because once I dove into the human design of what I am, it's described as if someone gives you the book to how you are and why you are the way you are. I'm going to put the link in how you discover what your human design is in the description notes. You just need to know 3 things. And these 3 things are something you should know in general, whether you want to take the short quiz or not. But why not? Porque no. It's the time you were born, the place you were born, and the day that you were born. And you are either a manifester, a generator, a manifest generator, a projector, or a receiver. What do you think you are? Unless you know what the human design is, you can't imagine what it actually is. So let's get started. Can I read it to you? I'm going to. Anyways. All right, so you can order this book off Amazon. You take the quiz online. You can order this book off Amazon. They have videos about this on YouTube, and you can ask ChatGPT about the information that it gives you. I have not found anything else more consistent and helpful than this book. All right, what is human design? Human design is a system of personality typing that is a synthesis of astrology, the Chinese Wen Qing, the Hindu chakra system, Judaic Kabbalah, and quantum physics. And I apologize if I said any of that incorrectly as far as pronunciation goes. Sometimes I struggle with that. Human design functions as a sort of personal blueprint, showing each individual exactly how best to manifest their purpose in their lifetime. This system demonstrates the archetypal themes that teach us how to be human beings. Your human design chart, which is generated using your birthday, birth time, and birthplace, is a powerful tool to help you begin the process of taking control of your personal narrative. It essentially functions as a map that tells you who you are, how you experience and process the world, how you best make decisions, and what you need to do to stay in harmony with your authentic self. Human design is a cross-cultural, ancient, and modern index of all the traits that make us human. The assemblage of information gives you a systematic way to consciously explore your personal narrative and to change your current story into one of unlimited, empowered, authentic living. Your human design will gift you with a new vocabulary, a new language to interpret a part of yourself that perhaps you've hidden away. Human design not only gives you a new way of thinking about yourself, but also a new way of talking about yourself. This is just the beginning. I highly recommend it. I kind of want to keep going. I've thought about doing a series on the human design and just breaking down each one because I want to learn more about it myself and not just my own, but everyone's. All right, let's keep going. The Aramaic word abracadabra, often associated with stage magic, means I will create as I speak. Human design is an ancient way of articulating an undeniable truth. Words have power. They can unify people. They transmit. Words are the bridge between the divine and the human story. They translate the infinite into finite. Words are the code for your personal story. In this book, you're going to learn to use this new vocabulary of your authentic self to rewrite your personal story in a systemic way. Each section includes contemplations, journaling processes, and a template to help you craft a personal mission statement about your life. Your new human design vocabulary will help you reconstruct your personal narrative so that it reflects your authentic identity. These new words have the power to change your relationship with money and with your family, friends, and partners, to help you find your right work in the world, to create more well-being in your life, to deepen your spiritual connection, and to heal ancestral memories. Every element in the human design chart represents a potential, an archetype, or theme. Your potential can be expressed on a spectrum of possibility. You can either express a high potential or a low potential of all the parts of your chart. For example, there's the potential of being a hermit. Hermit energy, in its low expression, can be a fear of connecting with others, causing someone to hide away, deny life, and never fulfill their potential of love and community. Hermit energy in its high expression can be experienced as the need to retreat, to restore and replenish one's energy, to hermit oneself as a way of keeping your energy sustainable. How you choose to express the themes or potentials of your human design depends, in part, on your conditioning. Conditioning is the way in which you've learned to behave in response to your life experiences, your family patterns and beliefs, and how you experience the energy of the world. Your personal narrative is deeply influenced by your conditioning. Your conditioning gives you a personal meaning that is associated with each of the themes in your human design chart. Unraveling these meanings can help you figure out why you may be stuck in a story that isn't serving the fulfillment of your highest potential. It can also provide you with profound insight into how you can consciously begin to choose a different response to life. Let's look at an example. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the word creativity. A theme that is found, are your eyes closed? A theme that is found in many places in the human design chart. Creativity is a neutral concept. It simply means the ability to create something. How you perceive the concept of creativity, your experiences of being creative in your life, and the beliefs you are conditioned by all influence how you express your own creative potential in your life. Say, like all children, you are born with a deep connection to your natural creative ability. You spend your days daydreaming and thinking about all the things you love to do with your life. One day at school, while you were gazing out the window and imagining how it would feel to ride a horse, your teacher takes a ruler and bangs it loudly on your desk, startling you out of your daydream. This experience leaves you so rattled that you consciously choose to not daydream ever again in school, shutting down a core element of your creative power. Next, Let's add that your parents are practical and believe that all dreams are born out of hard work. If you want to do fun, creative things with your life, you must earn the right to do them after you get your work done. Creativity is a luxury, one you can't afford. Your family's work ethic has conditioned you to place your creative dreams on the back burner in the hope that someday you'll earn the right to manifest them into reality. I love that it used the word back burner. I'm pretty sure I used that word at the beginning. Finally, imagine that at 16 years old, you fall in love with literature. You were always a voracious reader, but as you mature and begin to really understand the elegance and power of the written word, you decide that you'd like to become a professional writer. When you share your dream with your father, he replies that you are being impractical and that you'd better pick a more profitable and practical career path if you want to get anywhere in life. Reluctantly, you agree and pursue a degree in business instead. Nothing is wrong with a degree in business, by the way, but keep listening. As a result of these conditioning experiences, whenever you think about pursuing your passion as an adult by being creative and fulfilling your creative urges, you suppress those desires. Sometimes you think about writing when you retire. In your daily life, though, you refuse to give yourself the gift of fulfilling the full expression of your creativity. Throughout your life, you are effectively telling yourself a story about who you are, what you're capable or incapable of doing or having, and what you deserve. In this case, it's a story of someone who doesn't place a high value on their own creative expression and lives their life accordingly. Powerful stuff, right? This is the power of story. The tales we tell ourselves help create our lives on multiple levels. As you go through this book, you'll explore a new vocabulary that you can use to rewrite the story of your life. In addition, with the help of your human design chart, you're going to learn how to rewrite your story in a way that reflects the true story of who you really are, a story that represents the unique, vital, and irreplaceable role in the world that only you can fulfill. I use creativity as an example for a couple of reasons. First, many of us have experienced this kind of stifling conditioning regarding our own creativity. Second, in this book, you will use a playful creative process in the rewriting your personal narrative. The exercises found here will support you in eliciting a response from the right side of your brain, helping you break out of the old conditioned ways of thinking about yourself. Changing your mind isn't easy. The brain has evolved to be a deeply efficient organ. Once you have a thought or tell a story multiple times, your brain begins to build a neural pathway that nerves can follow with little to no conscious thought. This pathway allows the brain to easily run the story through your mind repeatedly, even unconsciously, until it becomes a part of your identity. This also explains why it's so hard to break a habit or create a new habit. Because an old habit has become a neural pathway the brain reverts to easily, and to break that habit or create a new one, you must build a new pathway for the new habit to take root. It requires time and repetition to reprogram the brain. While we are on the topic of neural pathways, it's a good time to talk more about the biology of the brain. As you likely know, the brain has two halves, referred to as the left and right side of the brain. That part I do. And each half is associated with different neurological processes. The left side of the brain is where things like language, logic, and timekeeping take place. The left side of the brain predicts the future based on our understanding of the patterns from the past. This is what science is built upon. When certain experiments consistently give us a predictable outcome, we feel comfortable knowing that the pattern is true and that most of the time we can rely upon it to result in certain predictable outcomes. The left side of the brain is also associated with fear and doubt, protective mechanisms that cause us to be skeptical and resistant to change as a way of shielding us from unknown and potentially unsafe things. The right side of the brain is associated with the big picture. Holistic thinking, emotions, intuitive nudges, and traditional creative arts take shape here. This side of the brain isn't interested in logic and prediction, and because of this, it is thought to be the spirit of pattern-breaking thoughts. Creativity, including creative storytelling, is associated with the right side of the brain as well. Every time you consciously tell yourself new stories about you, Not only do you access the childlike side of your brain that is open to learning new ideas and values, you also draw on the emotional, intuitive side of your brain to use storytelling to break old patterns and chart a new path for your life. A new story stretches your mind to begin thinking about new possibilities and leads you in new directions. We're almost done. The use of effective storytelling is well documented. Highly successful people like entrepreneurs and Olympic athletes know what success would look like for them and focus their creative vision to live that story of success. Our goal with this new story, which you will continue to refine throughout your life, is to write a clear, creative vision for your life in this way. Your new story can become a practical and powerful tool that works for you. Woo! All right, guys, that was just the introduction. We got a lot more book here. Comment, do you want to hear more? Are you interested in more of the book? Did you figure out what you are? What do you think I am? Because I know, but I'm not telling you this time around. I feel like by telling you what I am, it might alter whether or not you do it yourself. All right, that was some reading. Thank you for listening to that. I know it's not what I normally do on my podcast, but it is so important. It is so important. I know that it can teach you everything about yourself. What I love so much about the human design is I'm glad to have discovered it in my early 30s as opposed to early 20s, because I have naturally on my own grown a lot in a lot of different areas. And I've used the pains throughout my life to give me that desire to be different. But a lot of the things I do now, if you ask me, I would typically say, oh, because of the traumas I went through as a kid, I have learned these skills, or because of surviving an abusive relationship, I now will only be in relationships that feel this way, and I will not do the ones that feel this way. I've always just quit things right before they took off. I don't know why. This tells you which one you are based off the information that has nothing to do with what you've gone through in life. Just how the universe was aligned with quantum physics and all this stuff on the day you were born. So this is information that was always available to us. Knowing it doesn't make it more true. It just means we can now use it as the tool that it is to transform our life that much more. I hope you're intrigued. I hope you click the link. I hope you at the very least, find out what you are and Google it. Read a paragraph about it and see what you think. Is it like that's not me at all? Prove it wrong. Well, on that note, guys, thank you again for joining me, Madison Monroe, on my podcast, Make Yourself Moan. Tonight, I'm joining my mom and my partner and a friend of my mom's at a trivia night in a bar downtown called Down Under. It's, I think, alien themed, which my mom obsessed. We always go to Roswell whenever we can. She wrote a book called, oh my gosh, actually that's the book my mom wrote. My Love Affair with an Alien in a Little Town Called Roswell. You can buy it off Amazon. She might get 10 cents off of it. So yeah, please go buy the book. It's really good. My mom is way cooler than me. And that's going to make me moan. That's going to give me joy that I'm spending time with my mom in a fun way. Meeting a new person. Probably having some wine. And just enjoying life. Full circle. Are you living? Are you present? I'm working on it myself. It's very important. Otherwise, what's it all for? You can have all the growth get all the fans and make all the money. But if you don't feel more full and fulfilled and at peace and joyful in here, and not feeling like a mannequin, but feeling like a whole, well-rounded individual, what's it all for? Happy Moaning Day. I hope to see you again next week at this very spot. And again, please subscribe, like, follow, because that helps the algorithm know that I have something cool to say. And maybe one day I will have people who want to pay me to advertise their stuff that I like. And maybe one day this can be my full-time job. At least one of them. I like to do too much to probably just do one thing. Anyways, I love you. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to Make Yourself Moan. Remember, self-love and raw truth are your power. So keep diving deeper and turning up the volume on truth and healing. Until next time, I'm Madison Monroe Curtis, sending you love and loud moans of confidence. If you feel led to, please follow me, like, subscribe on all those socials. I'd love it if you send or email me any and all topics on your heart and brain, and let's unravel those together. Until next time, just keep moaning.